Hello guys, girls and everything else. As you know, for quite some time, I had like an reaction era where I just reacted to content because I couldn't really find my place in YouTube, you know. I didn't really know where I wanted to land, and now I know that I want to cover like TTRPGs and probably some other games too. So, yes. I decided to type Pathfinder 2E into the Google search to react to one of videos that just pops up at the top of all of this on the screen. And well, I've seen this, how to pick a class. As you can see, I made two videos about classes. They were kind of deep videos, talking about basically what a class does and how to and pretty much basic things I recommend for that class. So I think that reacting to that specific video, will be pretty cool. So yeah, I have like a session in an hour, so I think that watching this video will be pretty good, especially for the algorithm. So yeah, I'm going to like it from the very beginning because Zedrin, that as far as I know, was like a video of YouTuber about D&D. So yeah, let's just react to it. Yes.
Well, hey there. Are you just getting interested in Pathfinder 2?
Yeah.
Are you overwhelmed by the fact that there's 22 different classes
Yes.
to choose from and counting?
Let's
However,
say
would
that
you
yes.
decide on what
Let's
class
say
to
that
choose
yes.
for your idealistic character that you're trying to craft? Worry not,
Yeah.
friend, because I have done you a favor. I have
Oh yeah, this is literally just me. This guy is literally just me. I already like him. Literally, these were friends, and they started like playing D&D, and they were like, "Wow, the spellcasters are really strong. I kinda don't want to play a barbarian." And I was like, literally, I just grabbed my friend by the shoulder, like squeezed it, and like, "Hey man, so you like martials? How about we try a really manly game of Pathfinder 2nd edition?" And he was like, "What the fuck is that?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, it's just D&D. But balanced, you have more classes, more options, and more everything." And he was like, "It's impossible, I've never heard of it, so it cannot be better than D&D or anything." So I just decided, let's play it, and just we like run a couple of sessions, and he was like, "Wow, D&D is shit." So yeah, I was like, "No way, Sherlock! How can something that is owned by Hasbro be bad?"
created
Yeah.
a video for you
Yes.
that goes over every
Yes,
single
yes,
class
yes.
with a brief summary to tell you exactly what they're about and why you
Yeah,
might want to choose
that's
them.
pretty funny.
You're very welcome.
Me,
I accept
yeah.
tribute in the form of money, cash, and pictures of my OC. Anyway, I've kind of divvied up all the classes into a bunch of different smaller categories.
Ooh. Spontaneous mages, specialist, combatants, strikers, champ, and advanced. Wow, that's a lot. I just divided each class into like a chart, like an alignment chart, but I just decided that it would be way better to communicate if I just draw it in shape of like 4 circles. And yeah, I just divided it into like 4 categories, aka the damage dealer, the supporter, the healer, and the tank. And yes, pretty much no one was just in the straight up tank category. Everyone was like in the play. Every tank was in the place pretty much where damage dealer and tank overlapped. Except the champion, where champion was in the category where damage dealer, tank, and also healer overlapped.
Categories, so that way they're kind of easier to
Yes.
understand. These categories are in no way official, and you probably won't find other people
They're
using the
not.
same terminology, but
Yes,
they might make it easier for you to understand.
mine is better. My terminology will be better. No, I haven't even heard it, so yeah, I'm just joking. I'm just joking around. Okay, so my guess that 1-star guys will be probably gunslinger and fighter. 2-star guys will be just like all of the other marshals like ranger and stuff like this. 3-star guys will probably like sorcerer and other things like this. 4-star guys will be probably 4-star guys will probably prepare spellcasters like druids and wizards. And 5-star, I guess that will be probably a summoner, magus, and oracle, of course. Oracle is like notorious for being hard. Summoner has a weird action economy, and magus, yeah, also magus has a weird action economy, and it's like in the awkward place of being a mix of a fighter and a wizard. Yeah.
Combatants are a group of martial characters that are a bit more no-nonsense in how they approach combat. Barbarians are for when you want to hit hard and be all in on muscle. A lot of people say that.
Oh yeah, simple. So yeah, Pathfinder, Gunslinger and Barbarian will be. So yeah, if Barbarian is like level 1, I would personally like put Barbarian pretty much at level 2 maybe. And just hear me out. Because Barbarian, I would put personally Barbarian at level 2 because sometimes you don't really want to rage. And there are kind of other factors, but Barbarians are quite simple. I would personally give it like 1.5 star.
That Dragon Ball Z characters might fit better as monks, but in my opinion, barbarians have more of a.
Yeah, actually, in like my D&D video that I had like a short D&D guide to Barbarian, I literally just used Goku from Dragon Ball as like the forefront Barbarian when I was explaining Rage.
That flavor, getting stronger when they're desperate or angry. Your instinct alters your
Yeah.
rage and can even let you specialize in things like oversized weapons,
Yeah, they're
give you
very cool.
draconic rage.
I mean, the weapons won't really be oversized if you play Giant Instinct because you will have like giant stature at level 13, I think, and at 17 you will become then large and then you will become huge. So yeah, the funny thing is that technically the large weapon, oversized weapon, will be like very small. Like your great sword will look like a short sword when you're like very big, unless your GM like rules differently.
For animalistic traits, or even channel ancestral spirits to aid you in the middle of battle.
Yeah.
Fight.
Yeah. In a video I made just a second ago. On like another window, I later just like I made a Spirit Instinct Barbarian to show people how fast it was to make a character to level 20, and I made the character to level 20 in 19 minutes and 54 seconds, I think. 19 minutes and 53 or 4 seconds. Oh no, wait, sorry for being a dummy. 19 minutes and 53 seconds and 28 milliseconds. But that's mostly because I took pauses. It would take me less than like 15 minutes if I didn't like pause to explain some things that I pick. And yeah, just character creation at like level 1 takes you 3 minutes, and then the rest of levels are like less than 17 minutes combined together.
Fighters are the de facto
Yeah.
fighters. Go figure. You want to focus on weapon use.
Yeah, whole Pathfinder's fighter thing is just +2, and then you have your feats that are maneuvers. You have just +2 to hit. Your crits are better, and also you get 2 feats for free at higher levels that are called combat flexibility. That you can just change these 2 feats like their spells.
In combat maneuvers, try a fighter. They're pretty easy to pick up and are really impactful and fun. They don't have a subclass, but instead have a lot of highly modular feats that let you alter how you approach combat and let you customize your playstyle to whatever
This is
suits
very
you.
cool.
Rangers eat good in Pathfinder 2. While they're still fighter-like with a bit of a nature theme, the modularity of the system makes it really easy to customize what kind of ranger you want.
Yeah, you can pick animal companion ranger, you can just have a bow ranger, or you can have a ranger that just basically picks up 2 weapons and just jumps enemy with 2 weapons.
You want to use magic, animal companions, focus
Yeah,
on nature and
true.
survival. You can pick and choose
Yeah,
which
also
elements
in
suit
order
your
to
idea
like
of the ranger.
wait
And
a
whatever
second.
options you go with, your ranger will feel like they have a unique and specific identity. And with Hunt and
Yeah.
Prey, they become one of the best single target attackers in the game. And don't be fooled, the name Ranger refers
Yeah,
to being
that's
like a
pretty
warden
cool.
of the forest. It doesn't actually mean you have to use ranged weapons.
Yeah, that's a common misconception. But in Pathfinder, you literally have like feats that work only if you use like 2 weapons at once, 2 weapons in hands, which you know, if you pick out with, you basically become a tank, just specifically against your prey.
And in fact, in Pathfinder 2, Rangers are effective with all types of weapons, even two-handed and strength-based ones. Pathfinder 2 probably
Yeah.
does Rangers the best out of any system that I've played. Also, in my opinion,
Yeah, also, I'm making my own system. I forgot to tell you guys. And kind of, well, if you want to attack Rangers, technically, Ranger is like rather an archetype rather than its own class. Because that's my system works around having just 3 classes. aka, first class is a Marshal, second class is Caster, and the third class is Hybrid. And they do what you think. Marshal either uses build, which is a mix of strength and constitution, or dexterity, that is just dexterity. And caster use either their mind stat, that is a mix of wisdom and intelligence, or their aura stat, which is basically their charisma. Why aura instead of charisma? I chose that because it reflects better, because it's a force of personality rather than just like being charismatic by itself. Back to the ranger. Actually, ranger is just like you essentially, it works similar to Pathfinder. You basically just get your like ranger stuff as a feat at level, as like your starting feat, and like feats that you start with. You pick all of the like class abilities of different classes, and that's how ranger works. And yeah, ranger is pretty much treated also pretty well, because I make sure that pretty much every like class archetype has a similar amount of abilities, like the similar amount of abilities to fit in every class archetype. But the system is not out yet, so yeah, sorry for that little talk about or something.
it's probably one of the most effective
Yeah.
systems to make Aragorn. Champions are what I like to call the team dad. They tend to be very heavily armored, big boy tanks. This also includes
Yeah.
the paladin, which you might be more familiar with. Champions get a bit of divine influence and a few focus spells as well.
Yeah, very funny thing. Paladin is, when you think like champions and you think Paladin, Paladin is the one that you most think is like the righteous guy in the shining armor and stuff like this. But Paladin is pretty much the only champion that is viable. The only champion that is viable to go and fight ranged with. Maybe except like Tyrant Ranger. I mean, like Tyrant Champion is also pretty good at range, but I personally, in like one campaign that I'm currently running, the party will be facing like a tyrant champion. Which will be like the more like nimble dexterity based guy.
Well, depending on what kind of god that they choose or what cause they align themselves with, but otherwise they're totally martial.
Yeah.
Your cause determines your playstyle and is influenced a lot by your alignment. If you're using
No, that's a lie. They're not totally martial because out of all of the like classes that I usually call quarter casters, because we have half casters that are essentially just like summoner and magus. Quarter casters, I call some guys like quarter casters because they can only use focus point, and champion is the only quarter caster that starts off with focus spells. Other quarter casters are basically just ranger and monk, but they need to take a feat at level 1 usually, where they, for example, monk uses like key strike or key rush, and ranger needs to pick like a gravity weapon at the start to actually have that ability to actually have focus spells. But champion just gets it at the start regardless of the feats you choose. You just either get lay on hands to heal your allies, or you can, like, for example, take the oh yeah, and if you take like one of the evil champions, then you have Touch of Corruption. And yeah, champions are not a really good class in my opinion, because they rely on using alignment damage, which, you know, good damage, only evil creatures take good damage and stuff like this, you know. So you need to deal the type of the damage you deal is not really reliable, because you may be fighting like animals or just henchmen that were just like, you know, taught to do something. So unless you're fighting like extraterrestrials, it won't be really good. And yeah, so champion won't really be totally martial, because champion will start off with healing or like damaging spell at the start.
alignment, that is, and grants you a unique reaction known as your Divine Smite, which you can use to punish enemies when they try to hurt your party members.
Divine Smite is not your unique reaction actually. Divine Smite actually happens that if you use your reaction, that's not your Divine Smite. Your reaction, your Divine Smite is if you're a paladin and you use your reaction, if you use your champion's reaction as a paladin, aka your rebutive strike, Divine Smite essentially deals additional good damage.
You also get a unique spiritual ally in the form of a weapon, shield, or mount.
Yeah, he forgot to say, if you take a weapon, then it will essentially just give you stuff on a... it will essentially just give you runes on the weapon, which I don't really think are that good. But for example, the shield one is pretty good, because your shield has 1.5 times more HP and 1.5 times more hardness, aka it will block 1.5 times more damage and will be 1.5 times more resilient to damage. And the steed is basically just like an animal companion. And personally, if you may, personally because of that, if you're having a champion in your game and you're a game master or something, or if you're a player and there's a champion in your team, just like ask your game master if you can start the campaign at level 3, because, you know, that's the moment where the champion gets their divine allies. So, you know, I have like a champion that wanted to play a champion, but, you know, like an automaton champion that has like this cyber wolf as his divine ally, or I don't know, it was like a cyber wolf, cyber fox, I don't know, it was like a something like cyber canine thing, and this guy just like rides on it, and it has like the meaning to its backstory. So, you know, it would be really hard to justify him not having that guy in until like level 3.
Strikers are also another group of damage dealers that are really capable at what they do. However, they're a lot more focused on mobility. And when they do fight, at least in my own opinion, they tend to have a little bit more style about it. Monks are for when you really want to play Bruce Lee in the middle of Galarion. Uniquely in Pathfinder 2, monks are actually pretty durable, and are also still highly mobile, and have very good action economy thanks to Flurry of Blows. Like fighters, they don't actually have a true...
Yeah, just they will have like all of the saves. They will be able to like just pick their saving throws. Which saving throw will be the highest, and you know, already their saving throws are insane. They're absolutely insane. And you know, all the keys, and you know, monks get stances. I hope that this guy mentions a bunch of stances over here.
Subclass, and instead are customized based on what kind of stances you choose, which grant you unique unarmed strikes. And these can be a lot of different things, from strength-based kicks, to ranged attacks, to stances that actually turn you into a tank. The stances are so enticing that they literally made an entire archetype so that way other classes could easily pick them up.
Yeah, it's like called martial artist. They're really cool. The stances are really cool. Martial artist. It's like pretty much must-have for like martial artist is probably like must-have for a lot of classes. I usually see like if people like run martial artists, it's usually like a fighter that is focused on the brawling weapon group that uses a gorilla stance with also additionally like wrestler dedication.
Swashbucklers, meanwhile, combine the combat focus of the fighter with the more slipperiness and charm of the rogue. The swashbuckler specializes in doing combat maneuvers to fake out their opponents, which then grants them bonuses to their damage as well.
Yeah, everyone can do like the things, the like fake out maneuvers, and not every maneuver is a fake out maneuver. Only like defensor has fake out maneuvers. Other ones are like just dancing, stuff like this, like pushing enemy, but only one that does fake out maneuvers is defensor. And yeah, they just gain ability, they just get a little boost if they do this, and they can just sacrifice the boost to make a really, really strong attack.
Well as a finishing blow that they can execute. If it is not enough for you to just fight, you need to do it with style, then check out a swashbuckler.
Yeah.
Look, you probably saw Gunslinger and immediately thought, oh hey, gun!
Wait, why is Gunslinger... Why is Gunslinger 2 stars? Gunslinger is pretty much just like fighter, but instead of just 2 free feats, you get a like a special reload, aka you can like do something while you reload. And instead of just critical, straight up just like that thing that is just like critical special, and you sacrifice like your armor and stuff like this. You sacrifice your armor and some of your hit points in order to get an ability to just like get a little bonus at the start of every combat. For example, if you're a sniper, your bonus at the start of the combat is that if you roll stealth for initiative, you deal like extra damage on your first shot. And you know, the reload is that you can hide while reloading behind something.
So I probably don't need to tell you why you might want to play one. That said, gunslingers are not the only class that is capable of using firearms, though they do get access to some unique options for reloading, as well as maneuvers and stuff that can further enhance their flexibility on the battlefield.
Yeah, they're like fighters,
but
but just
style of fighting. If you want to be a cowboy in a fantasy world, go gunslinger. Specialists is a group that I kind of created to describe characters that are more focused on utility and skill use.
Yeah, that would be just Investigator and Rogue. And maybe Thaumaturge, if Dark Archive already came out during this video.
Even though they can
Oh yeah, and also Alchemist. But Alchemist is more of a healer, I think.
do respectable damage on their own. Alchemists embody the mad scientist archetype.
Challenging? 5 stars for Alchemist? Alchemists are just like spellcasters, pretty much. I would even argue that alchemists are kind of easier than spellcasters, because you can both make quick alchemy stuff on the spot, and you can just prepare your things, so you just like have best of both worlds of spellcasters.
They sort of operate like item-based casters, which can make them a little bit hard to understand, but are amazing supports in the right hands. Especially since you can just give your allies your items and stuff and let them spend their actions to use them instead of your own. Your research field allows you to specialize more into bombs, elixirs and healing, mutagens to modify you or your allies, or poisons to debilitate your enemies.
Yeah, actually, I do respect the fact that this guy gave Alchemist challenging because, like a funny fact, if you ever hear like people talking like stuff that, talking smack about you because you play D&D or something, the 9 times out of 10, they will be probably like an alchemist main, like playing an alchemist, like. I don't know if playing an alchemist just corrupts you from like the core of your being, but I see that pretty much like every like player that is a red flag picks up alchemist. Usually bomber, especially if they pick bomber alchemist. Then there are really like a red flag. Like the funniest thing is that the toxicologists are usually like the least toxic out of all alchemists. They're pretty chill, but the bomber alchemists are like the bane of like why some people think that Pathfinders are elitist. Like pretty much everyone else is welcoming, but like these guys are like actual like gremlins that will sit every day in their basement just to like point out how D&D is bad to other people.
Investigators are for when you want to play the big brain boy but don't want to be a caster. Investigators are tied with rogues and skill focus, and they're so smart that they get a special action that allows them to use their intelligence to make weapon attacks. This also premeditates your next attack roll, which means that you get to see the result of the die before you commit to the attack. This allows them to be super optimized with their
Yeah, and also you deal extra damage if you do this.
Actions, deciding when to attack when it's opportunistic, and doing other things when it's not. If you saw Sherlock and thought it was so cool how he slowed down time and thought about all these different maneuvers that he could do to
Yeah, you can actually do that at level 20. You can actually like use your 3 actions to give yourself 9 actions at level 20, but you can only use these actions for skills that are related to intelligence and wisdom.
take down the opponent to identify the weak point. Yeah, that is literally how the Investigator is built and what it's meant to embody.
Yeah.
Rogues, meanwhile, are the ultimate skill monkeys, just like they were in Pathfinder 1. While you can absolutely play the traditional sneaky, stabby, vexy thief, rogues have several rackets that allow them to lean into literally any ability score.
Not every ability score. Based face value, you cannot use Constitution at all. Until the kineticist comes out, at least, I think. But I think that how kineticist works thus far, that they provide, that then probably, then probably like Rogue won't be probably able to use that. And you know, Rogue doesn't really have a dedicated wisdom subclass, even though I like made a homebrew scout subclass for Rogue. Though instead of that, Rogue can technically use wisdom, but only if you like take Eldritch Trickster, that allows you to essentially just get a dedication feat for free to like any spellcaster, and you need to like pick either cleric or druid in order to actually like use wisdom.
And make a bunch of different ideas. Ruffians, for instance, are armored sneak attackers who wear medium armor and can use any simple weapon and focus on strength rather than dexterity.
Yeah.
Scoundrels are more charismatic and can gain benefits to feint and charisma-based skills.
They're basically politicians. Like, if you think about it, as a Polish person, I tell you, as a Polish person, rogues are just Polish people. We're all like skill monkeys. Every time you'll meet a Polish person, they will probably like have like a weird skill, you know. I don't know why, but last time, you know, I lost like one of my dice, and I saw like my brother is safe, you know. I just like got like a instinct, you know. I took out a paperclip and essentially opened the safe because it was like one of these safes that is open with a plastic key, and I essentially just like took two like paper clips, like bent them a bit, and just essentially lockpicked the safe and found my missing die over there. You know, it was like a purple D6. So yeah, he stole the die from me, and I had like a sudden urge, and I not only like foreseen that it is there, even though like I lost it a month ago. I also just like was able to lockpick a lock. So yeah, us Polish people we just get like random superpowers. Like we're skill monkeys. We just have proficiency in every skill ever.
Eldritch Tricksters, also known as Arcane Tricksters, can take a multi-class dead.
No, they're not known as arcane tricksters. They're in essentially like Eldritch Trickster Wizard is essentially like arcane trickster in D&D, but better.
With any caster for free and lean into the magic side of combining magic and sneak attacks. Inventors are another option for people who want to play a smart character that isn't a caster. Like the Alchemist, they also turn crafting into a combat skill, but unlike the Alchemist who specializes in instantaneous and consumable items like bombs and elixirs, they instead focus on a singular item, their innovation.
Yeah, it can be either one, like a weapon, and if you pick a weapon you just add a bunch of traits, aka the weapon can deal more types of damage and stuff like this. And it gets really insane if you like pick something like a halberd for your weapon. And armor, and for armor you can essentially just get a bunch of resistances, and if you create a construct then what is actually wrong with you. Also, fun fact about this inventor we see over here, this inventor has a mechanical arm, but this is not an inventor feature or anything like this. Actually this guy has an mechanical arm because he took like a Sterling Dynamo dedication, I think it is called, which essentially just gives you like a mechanical prosthetic that you can do a lot of things with.
You can choose to specialize in a custom modular weapon, a set of power armor, or a mechanical construct that operates like a pet, and apply modification.
Yeah, actually, the funny thing, you can like make your mechanical companion, you can make the companion large, and make the companion able to fly, so you will be able to fly on this companion. Like I had like this guy that was like playing Nick Fury or something, because he was like using guns and stuff, and this like his companion was like a mini helicopter, pretty much. Like before it was explained that it couldn't fly because it was like kind of broken, but it could like still somehow walk. This helicopter could somehow walk. I don't remember how, but there was probably some reason like wheels. But later, like he fixed up his like helicopter, his like mini helicopter, and he just like wrote into like a mini helicopter. It was really funny.
To each one to customize how they work and what they can do.
Yes.
You can also explode voluntarily.
Yeah. Clarification, you don't explode. You can essentially voluntarily make your weapon explode if you have a weapon innovation, or essentially self-destruct your construct that you made, or you can actually explode if you pick armor.
Spontaneous casters are casters that can only cast spells that they know, which makes them a bit...
Yeah, they're like sorcerers in D&D, pretty much.
Easier to learn at the expense of a bit of flexibility. They tend to have more spell slots than prepared casters, and because they don't need to prepare spells, they have a little bit more flexibility in how they use said slots, even if they don't have as big of a repertoire. Bards are very much jacks of all...
Yeah, very cool thing, yet again, about my system. I also have like a divide, but there are like characters that essentially just, because they're actually like, then you, when you're a spellcaster, you pick one trait, usually, or like multiple traits sometimes. Like you usually pick like have a bunch of like traits, for example like fire and water and stuff like this, you know, fire, water, ice, mind, smoke, and you usually can just use a bunch of spells from this. If you're like a prepared if you're like innate spellcaster, that's how it's called, you essentially get a bunch of like abilities that you have. You essentially just pick a bunch of spells that are from this, and if you're like the initiated spellcaster, aka when you use your mind instead of your aura, because the innate spellcaster use aura, and all of, and the and you know initiated use mind, then the initiated ones have access to the entire spell list, like to the entire spell, to like pretty much every spell. They have access to pretty much every like common spell with the fire, with like the fire trait if they pick fire, while like the other ones have just like pick a bunch of spells from fire. But the drawback is that these guys, the initiated guys, have like 33 they like have a third less spells, because at the start of the because like at the end of the game at level 20 pretty much I mean you can go past level 20, but it will be experimenting after that, after I'm like done with basic playtesting. And yeah, so far that's how it works, and it works, and over there it works a bit differently from Pathfinder. But yeah, I just want to like think trivia. The similar thing is actually in Pathfinder. That's what I wanted to talk. That if you pick like a charisma based spellcaster, then they are most likely then they are always spontaneous, I think. Unless you count Thaumaturge as a spellcaster, and you count like rage ancestry spells, but they're not like full spellcasting things. They're usually just like fits, singular fits that give you things, and pretty much all of the intelligence and pretty much all of the intelligence and wisdom based spellcasters are prepared, except for psychic, of course, because psychic is pretty much face value. It should be a charisma caster, but it has like an optional ability to. It's like kind of an optional ability to choose like intelligence instead of charisma when you like pick your subconscious mind.
All trades, who specialize highly in using performance and figuring out how to use it in.
Oh yeah, also occult magic. Occult spell list is the worst one out of all of these. Then I would pick like divine spell list, maybe, or I mean the occult one is like the worst one. Then like the third place I'd say, but there's like 4, so it would be like more 4th place, and then like but I would say it's 3rd place because like arcane and divine spell lists are like both, in my opinion, like they're both like at the same level, and the primal spell list is the best.
Combat and in other situations. They also get some unique abilities that make them really good at buffing up their allies, such as Inspire Courage, which gives a +1 to attack rolls, which, if you know how the system in Pathfinder 2 works, is super important.
That's
also
+1 to
a
crit.
chance to crit. The muse they select gives them a few assorted perks, such as martial training, or things like unique cantrips, or even additional spells.
I need to cover it, for example.
If you want to play a more support-focused...
I just need to make like yes sounds every time, every like once in a while, so it won't get like copyright claimed by YouTube. And because they may like think that I'm just putting an image over there just to like steal content or something. So I need to say like yeah every like a couple of seconds, so it actually won't get like registered copyright abuse or something.
This charismatic caster character, they're probably the one that you want to look at.
No, sorcerer.
Sorcerers are the original charisma-based caster. Fun fact, in older editions of the game, sorcerers and wizards actually were identical. The only thing that changed was how they cast their spells. However, now in Pathfinder, sorcerer magic comes from their bloodline, which gives them some unique side effects when using certain spells, as well as determines which of the 4 spell traditions they use. Some bloodlines that a sorcerer can call upon are things that...
Just pick probably like Phoenix Fair or something. Just primal tradition is the best. I'm not stopping you from using other traditions, but primal tradition is usually the best. Elemental Sorcerer is, in my opinion, the coolest one. Because in Pathfinder, pretty much every like vertical skill level of the vertical things, it pretty much like all of the things are balanced vertically, but horizontally, and there are things that are significantly better, because horizontally, by that I mean, horizontally means essentially like more options. Primal tradition gives you like pretty much the biggest mix of all of the stuff that you can get. So it makes you the most versatile out of all of them. So I think that's why it's the best. But in terms of like raw abilities, raw strength, then everything is equal pretty much. I mean,
such as aberrant,
my
angelic,
opinion.
demonic, diabolic, draconic, elemental, fey, genie, hag, imperial, nymph, phoenix, psychochomp, shadow, undead,
what?
elemental, fey, genie, hag, imperial, nymph, phoenix, psychochomp, diabolic, draconic, elemental, fey, genie, hag, imperial, nymph, phoenix, psychochomp,
What?
imperial, nymph,
Yeah.
phoenix, psychochomp.
Psychochomp? Wait a second. Nephis. Which of us is saying it wrong? Which of us is saying this wrong? It's Psychopomp. It's Psychopomp, not Psychochop. What? Yeah, I'm actually correct even though I'm dyslexic. What? How do you read P as che? How do you read P as che? Like CH is che. Or CZ if you're Polish. But how do you read... But how do you read like P as che? I did come here to like criticize you, but I'm really like wondering what made you like translate it as this. Oh yeah, also Night Dancer, a very cool song. You should listen to it.
Shadow, undead, and Wormblessed, which is basically Dragon but Divine.
Yeah, just remember, undead is not just like a corpse, okay? Just remember that. Undead does not mean corpse. Undead, essentially, usually means vampire. That someone in your bloodline was vampire. Not that someone just like decided that like corpses look really cool.
They're pretty accessible to pick up for a spellcaster, and their spell-like abilities give them some pretty unique flavoring. Psychics are a bit more complicated than the other spontaneous
I wouldn't say it's like that challenging. Like only challenging thing about psychic is like just literally just like sorcerer, but you have less spells. You get like free cantrips and you essentially just get free cantrips that you can boost, but there's just work life focus spells. So to be honest, psychics are just like sorcerers, but less spells. Just less spells, but less spells, and they are limited just to occult spell list. And yeah. And the only thing that is kind of hard about them is just like remembering when you just managing unleashing your psyche. That's pretty much everything that is like challenging about them, I think. I will actually like put hardness tier list. Maybe. I will make a video like this.
Casters. They're occult casters like bards but have fewer spell slots and go all in on focus points, but not focus spells. Psychics don't use focus points for unique spells, but rather can...
Yes, they do. 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 No, character creation, classes, psychic. Oh yeah, over here. Conscious minds. Okay, it's subclasses. Let's say over here. Distant grabs, full details. you have like unique side cantrips, but okay, over here, I mean they kind of are not focused. But okay, over here I will kind of agree because you usually just get like cantrips, and you can actually boost them when you use them. And over here you also get like kind of cantrips over here, but you can also use a focus spell to boost them. So yeah, actually, they kind of are different, but you know, they are about as big of focus spells are just like bards, because bards also get the you know focus cantrips that they can use like spam, like inspire courage, and also get separately the spells. But over here you essentially just get like whenever you get like the focus cantrip, then you also get a focus spell that has essentially the same effect. Even though it's just like boosting the cantrip, then it's essentially like pretty much just like a different focus spell, but a similar effect. I would say that's what I mean.
Use them to amp up cantrips based on their subclass choices, gaining unique and potent effects that make their cantrips even stronger than their
And
normal
unique
spell slots.
cantrips.
Their other core mechanic is to
Also,
unleash their psyche, which grants them other massive benefits for a short burst of time, then stupefying them for 2 rounds.
Yeah, that's the thing I really like. Thing that makes psychics harder is that if they actually like use this, they get bonuses, but then they are stupefied. So you need to actually like time it well, so you don't like unleash your psyche early in an encounter. Because if you're stupefied, then you know, it is really it is harder for you to you need to roll to check if you are even able to cast a spell, and if you do, then you have a minus to it. So that's the only hard part about psychics.
And while unleashed, they have other special psyche actions that they can take that are exceptionally potent. Psychics can be intelligence or charisma based and make for excellent blasters or other
Yeah, they can be only like intelligence based casters that are spontaneous. Like even Oracle that I would like think that would be like a prepared spellcaster. No, it's spontaneous because it uses charisma. Because your force of personality overwhelms the curse that is on you. That's why you can even leave and somehow control the curse. But whenever you try to like use your focus spells, aka like trying to extend the power of the curse, then it actually affects you.
support type characters. Plus also the flavor of them is incredibly cool. They can shirk some components of casting, such as vocal components, for mental ones instead. And they get unique modifications that they can do to their spells that make them more psychic themed. Oracles, meanwhile, are also divine casters, but
these are like over here I disagree once again. Like there are 5 stars, but I think that it should be like 10 stars, or there should be like way more stars to even fit. Because like speak of the devil, Oracle appeared, the hardest class of all. Like just know when I like look at an Oracle, just like try to usually just like pick a random character generator and like I go like and I see an Oracle pop up, especially if there's some noob that actually picks it. I myself can handle an Oracle as a Pathfinder pro, but yeah, I actually just like it's really blah. It's just really bad. You know, you need to keep track of this, and whenever I just like see a new player like randomly generate a psychic or so, oracle or something, I just like take the character sheet and just like throw it away and say like no, because no. Just kidding. I don't throw away their character sheets. I just tell them like, are you sure that you want to pick the hardest class? Are you sure that you want to pick the hardest class and your first class that you're playing? The hardest class. Pretty much the only reason I can see for people like thinking that Pathfinder 2 is actually hard and crunchy. Because outside of that, it's not really hard. But if you pick like a Magus, if you pick like a Magus, Oracle, or a summoner, you're gonna think that the game is crunchy because these 4 classes are like as crunchy as like chips.
Have less of an interaction with any of the deities in the game. Oracles are similar to clerics in the fact that they have divine spells, but they are actually spontaneous casters. And while they have a domain like a cleric, they don't usually have a deity that they worship or need to worship in order to get their abilities. Their power instead comes from some esoteric, hard-to-understand curse. This gives them several drawbacks, but they can also spread these drawbacks to opponents, and even turn some of their own drawbacks into a source of power. Oracles, in all honesty, can be a bit difficult to play, but they are so interesting.
A bit difficult. Oracles require you to make rocket science during your turn in order to actually play them. Not literally, but figuratively. It's harder than math in school.
But you might want to give it a shot. Mages is a group of prepared casters that I kind of lumped together because I didn't really have anywhere else to put them. As prepared casters, they know a whole lot of spells but can only pick through a few at a time. This makes them very flexible, able to adapt to the situation day to day. Clerics were the original divine casters, and are still amazing at it. Depending on what domain you specialize in, you can technically...
They essentially just get free uses of heal or harm spell.
Make any kind of cleric you want, from a martial character to a divine caster to a support unit, whatever. They also get several bonus spell slots per day that they can use for heal or harm, depending on what kind of...
Also, if you wonder why I said like no because no in such a weird way, it was because I was like making a reference to a YouTuber that is called Jordan that I reacted to, doing like my reaction phase a lot because like he makes a lot of poor financial and just life decisions in general. So I just decided, hey, that looks like free content for me. Yeah, so that's pretty much how it worked.
Kind of god they worship. And new to Pathfinder 2, you can specialize as a cloistered cleric, which is more like a cloth-based spellcaster, or go war priest and get...
Yeah, war priest is more like cloister cleric just gets better like spellcasting in general. And also gets like a focus spell. While like the war priest just has war spellcasting, but also like has better like has war spellcasting but has better armor. Like just, but don't play war priest. War priest is really hard to actually like play to make viable.
Get a more traditional armored cleric type of feel that specializes in their deity's weapon. Druids are for when you want to make a character that is all about nature.
Yo, the best one, the best class ever. The most versatile class in the entirety of Pathfinder 2nd edition. Why? Because unlike Thaumaturge, you don't use Charisma as your main stat, so you instead use Wisdom, and you probably will pick Constitution and Dexterity, so you already have your saves covered. And then you can also separately pick either Strength, Intelligence, or Charisma additionally to that. Not only that, but also you have the Primal Spell List, which is the most flexible spell list ever. You have a lot of stuff. You have also the Order Explorer feat that essentially allows you to have multiple subclasses. As Druids have a bunch of subclasses, you know. Druids have a bunch of subclasses. How many subclasses do they have? Druidic orders. Yeah, just to make sure. Animal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They have 7 subclasses and they can be all 7 subclasses. And I'm not even kidding. If a druid, because I don't know if this is actually like legal in the game, but as far as I saw on Path Builder, it is possible to like pick druid dedication on druids. So I usually just pick a druid dedication to like just get more Order Explorer feats. So I can actually like with that I can get pretty much every subclass, and then I'm just like most versatile druid. Like I'm a force of nature. It's so satisfying to play druid. It's so flexible. It's so much. You can have everything.
Tree-loving hippie. They just love plants, they live among nature, and they talk to animals. I'm pretty sure everybody knows the type. However, in Pathfinder 2, druids are probably one of the most flexible classes in the game. The modularity of the system lets you pick and
Yes.
choose which traditional themes that you might like to lean into, as well as gaining you an additional focus on one of your choosing. You can specialize in animal companions, familiar use, environment-derived spells, and wild shape, among other things. If you love animals or are
Yes.
simply enticed by commanding and summoning the elements, druid is definitely for you. Wizards, meanwhile, are the de facto arcane caster, and are the original prepared caster. For a lot of people,
Yeah, they have like a kind of like a bit confusing focus spells.
they tend to be a little bit too vanilla, but don't be fooled. Wizards focus on modifying and augmenting their spellcasting abilities, and getting assistance with that through their tools that they create. Your thesis in
Yeah.
Magic School allow you to kind of make your own custom little subclass. Your thesis in particular gives you some kind of unique utility, such as the ability to modify your spell slots or combine them, you can gain a familiar, or you can even get started with staff crafting at an earlier level.
Yeah.
Witches, on the other hand, are often seen as kind of a sister class to a wizard, both being intelligence-based and
Yeah, they're pretty much the same thing, but you focus. But instead of like getting the bonded item thing, which is kind of confusing to me, you get essentially like the other thing. And I think that which is better because over here you just get pretty much a familiar that is just like a better familiar. You just get a better familiar than any other class can have, and you get a lot of others. You get a lot of other stuff. Like you could just get essentially a better familiar, and you get hexes and you can also pick your subclass, which I'm not gonna even lie to you. I always when I pick which it's literally just like roll a d6, and divide the d6 by 2 round up. To just check which one of the like 3 classes that get the primal spell list I will use, because I pretty much always like use primal spells. My GMs even allow me to like, even if I play a monk, then my GMs usually just allow me to set my spells as primal instead of like divine or occult as a monk. Every DM that does this, I just love you guys. I'm doing like the hard thing with my hands right now. I don't know
prepared
if you
casters.
can.
However,
You
uniquely, they can choose
probably
from
can
spell
see
lists
this.
rather than just being limited to arcane. Thematically, they also have a patron, which is the source of their power, which also grants them an enhanced familiar,
Yeah.
as well as access to hexes and curses which they can put on their opponents. This might feel a little similar to the Warlock of 5e. The familiar is super important to the class, and is the source of their spell crafting.
It's just better warlock.
That goes all in on the familiar, the witch is definitely for you. Advanced classes have a bit more unique or esoteric mechanics and themes that
Yeah, that's I think where actually the oracle should be, because oracle's whole thing is just see like playing oracles is just pain. It's just
really
pure
fit fully into
pain.
the other groups. I actually debated putting Alchemist in this list originally. If you can't decide
Yeah.
between Might or Magic, then Magus might be for you, considering that they're a 50-50 mix of martial ability and spellcasting. Magi are what I like to...
Yeah, just Magus is one of the another like problem characters, just like War Priest, and I think like Inventor where I'm a man of my saving throws. Okay, I love having my saving throws all optimized. So Magus is not really like a thing for me usually, because Magus needs to use, usually if you're playing melee Magus, you need to use both strength and intelligence. So then you need to sacrifice either your like dexterity, constitution or wisdom, but you probably won't sacrifice your constitution, so dexterity or wisdom needs to go. So if I like try to play melee Magus, I pretty much always need to pick. I always feel forced to if I play melee Magus, I feel forced to pick 17 on dedication for like the heavy armor that has the full plate and that has bulwark on it, and then to pick the another like one that is called mighty bulwark, so it will actually like be good on saving throws. Or either I am just playing like I'm Laughing Shadow, which is like the rogue Magus, or like the Starry Fan that is just the range Magus.
to call limited spellcasters, meaning they only get access to spell slots of their 2 highest levels. They still are technically prepared casters,
Yeah,
which still gives them some
just
form of utility. Their core mechanic
4
involves
best
combining spell
ones.
attacks and weapon attacks simultaneously, imbuing spells into their weapon and unleashing both to a
Yes.
very potent effect. Summoners are another limited spellcaster, one that revolves entirely around a custom pet known as an Eidolon. Eidolon?
Yeah.
I don't know. Their summon is linked to them and operates as a proxy fighter, making them a strong force on
It's
the battlefield,
Eidolon.
especially for positioning. And thanks to the 3-action system, companion controls feels less overwhelming and more fluid than ever before. If you want to go all in on a pet class, the summoner is definitely for you. Thaumaturge, meanwhile, is
Yeah.
a martial type class that can fool people into thinking that they're a wizard or something. They carry a bunch of implements and
Yeah, thanks for using there because over here actually like I don't know if you know about the Pathfinder iconic because I have really like hard time remembering names, so you know I just like remember that Valros because Valros is the main guy, Harsk because Harsk like it's just a very funny character, um Lini because she's a druid, of course. And I also remember the name of yeah, I have hard time remembering the name of the last one, but Ezra the wizard also I remember. But this one is just but this one is like the first non-binary character of Pathfinder iconics. So yeah, representation cool.
Next, that, to the untrained eye, may seem useless or junky, but in reality can be used to gain specific benefits and even exploit the weaknesses and vulnerabilities of any opponent. Yes, even though...
Yeah, you can literally just like eat some seafood, spit on your like arrow, and then shoot an enemy with it, and just because you just like foreseen in the future with your like third eye or something that the enemy has seafood allergy, so you can just like essentially just exploit the fact that enemy has like an allergy and just shoot enemy with something that is like allergic to them. That's just really funny.
Those that don't have a weakness, they will create one. Thaumaturges are the ultimate monster hunters, and if you want to play a character like Geralt of Rivia or Trevor Belmont, check this class out because it's incredibly cool. So obviously I couldn't go into all the details on every class, but each one honestly has some interesting mechanics and themes going for it.
That's pretty much it, I think. Right now it doesn't really seem to have much more stuff. So yeah, that was pretty much my reaction and my takes about it. I'm going off because I'm getting kind of late for my session of Pathfinder 2nd edition. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Even though that was just my commentary, but you know, first rule of Pathfinder is literally just you don't like something, then homebrew, because the most important thing is to have fun. So because of this rule, I had my little motto that I say at the end of pretty much every video right now, which is, but remember, go find your own path, you freaks of nature. Get it because Pathfinder 2nd edition and freaks of nature because, you know, most people don't really like, most people don't play druid, and I play druid because, you know, like druid is the natural class, and like I always play like primal spellcaster that the nature guys, and most people don't pick nature guys, so yeah, that's why freaks of nature, because you're not really using nature and stuff like this, so that's basically I'm going to do a freak of nature because of that. I'm not trying to offend you or anything, okay?